Guys, today I'm going to bring you the best of both worlds with my friends at Public Rec, where comfort meets style. I was tired of sacrificing my comfort to try to look good, so I went and got some new gear from Public Rec. Now I no longer have to choose. I can seriously wear my Public Rec pants anywhere. They're nice enough to wear out to dinner. I did wear them because they were so versatile while I was playing golf. I even wore them to church on Sunday. In fact, they're comfortable enough. My buddy Justin sleeps in his like pajamas. Public Rec has got all of your occasions covered. With a blend of performance materials, it's got a perfect combination of breathability and stretch while still keeping its form. And Public Rec gets better. You can try an array of products like shorts and hoodies to upgrade your wardrobe. Comfortable enough for the couch, but sharp enough for the city. For a limited time, my listeners can save 20% by using code SONNEN at checkout. I want you to head to publicrec.com today, or just click on the link below. Oh, and when they ask how you found them, tell them Chael sent you. Imavov is actually a key component to a major story going down right now in MMA. Here's the way it goes. Dricus Du Plessis, Khamzat Chimaev, lined up, kept from us, the audience, gonna get announced for International Fight Weekend. This is the story that we are being asked to accept. Now, my only problem with accepting the story is that International Fight Weekend is 9 weeks away. But there are times in history when a main event of International Fight Weekend could be pushed. What I'm arguing is that 9 weeks is tight. But we got news 2 days ago that Dricus Chimaev were reserved. We're going to fight on that date, which says so many things. I mean, so many things have told us that Chimaev can't get to the country. Apparently, we are to believe that none of those things are so anymore. And that fight was going to go down in the main event of International Fight Weekend, as previously mentioned, which is 9 weeks away. Now, Dricus Du Plessis gets hurt. We don't know as an audience. It has not been revealed to us, the audience, that this is booked and that this is the plan until it is no more. I don't have a huge problem with that. I don't actually see anything wrong with anything that I just mentioned. We don't know anything until we know it. I'm just sharing for you. That is a lot of moving parts because it involves bringing Chimaev to America, which we've in no uncertain terms been told, including by Chimaev, cannot be done. Now, he did mention the outcome of a presidential election could determine his ability to travel. But since the day he mentioned that, and since we get the news right now that that fight, alleged to have been planned, goes up in smoke, nothing has ever been talked about. Again, I'm good with the whole thing. I'm just trying to set the stage for you guys. So, Dricus Du Plessis, who, by the way, I really hope never tells us what's wrong with him. Like, I am so sick of fighters using the internet as an excuse for getting out of something. Here I am, look at me, I'm in a hospital bed, and therefore every claim that you've ever heard must be true. Hey, look, here's an x-ray. It must be mine since I'm the one putting it on social media, and therefore I'm completely justified in pulling out of the one job that I get asked to do 3 times a year. Like, it's none of our business. And so far, Dricus hasn't told us what it is. Now, as much as I hope that Dricus continues to not tell us what it is, finding out what it is has a relevancy because do we do an interim championship? Do we not do an interim championship? Because Kyle Brau has accepted a fight against Khamzat Chimaev, International Fight Weekend, for an interim championship. The fight that Kyle Brau has accepted against Chimaev has not been offered to him, and the interim championship does not currently exist. But guys in the division have a way of finding information out. And dependent on what the injury and the level of injury that Dricus is dealing with would help to gauge whether or not we need an interim champion. Now, I want to go back to a thought. I've been in communication here with Errol Hawani, and I want to go back to a thought. And it was my original thought, which is Imanov. And Imanov has a lot to do with this. How so? Well, I love the idea of Kyle Brow versus Chimaev. I love the idea of getting on with it. I love the idea of staying busy. I love that as a main event. Like so far, everything is sounding right to me. But there is a belief that Imanov and Kyle Brow have a contract, and there's not very many times in history it can be done. It's not to say it doesn't exist with history, but there's not very many times when we would interfere with an existing contract, no matter how bad we needed a fight. Of the times that you likely are good enough at MMA Jeopardy to name for me where we interfered with an active contract, you probably had to do it within 24 hours of a fight because something went bad at the weigh-in. An example such as Money Moicano and Benny getting broken up because Sarukian missed weight and Islam needed an opponent. You probably could find some like that, but there are actually times throughout history where we've straight up broken a fight up because we needed something down the line. Imanov versus Kyle Brow makes a lot of sense. And I don't know that I am strong enough to tell you they would break that up for an interim title fight to headline one of the most important weekends of the year. I like and believe in Kyle. I like and I believe in Khamzat. I don't know that I like and believe, not truly, I could say it to be nice. I don't know that I like and believe Kyle and Khamzat can headline such an important weekend. You've already got a big problem when you're doing it for the interim. You have people that are looking around going, hey, International Fight Weekend, this is the big one, but I don't get a real one. I get an intro. I'm just sharing for you. It becomes a problem. Now, where does Imanov? Why do I keep bringing up Imanov? Because allegedly, Imanov and Barao have a contract, but that's not actually confirmed. That's not actually true. In fact, according to Daniel Cormier, who inserted himself into this piece of business, he said that he was visiting with Kyle Barao. He wasn't interviewing with him. He was visiting. Hi, how are you? They were talking. Someone else came over and filmed that. Then zoomed in, slowed it down in a studio like the one I'm in now, and got a lip reader. And the lip reader has Kyle Brow saying, I am fighting Imanov. But Daniel Cormier, who was there, said the exact words were, they would like it if I was to fight Imanov. They would like me to fight Imanov. Those are the words that Daniel says, Brow says. But the media is saying there's a contract. Now, this is interesting, and this is relevant. It's very relevant. We just saw in Miami, Pico does a press conference. Voilev does a press conference. They do a face-off, and when it's done, they say, no, these guys aren't fighting each other. There's no contract. It was a mutual appearance. It was not a press conference. It was a mutual appearance, which, I mean, I understand that we follow whatever rules we make up as we go, but in the history of my time in this sport, we've never brought up a guy that's never even been in the octagon, that would be Aaron Pico, and put him against an undefeated, arguably number one contender, had him face off, and then, by the way, it was a joint appearance. Like, come on. I'm willing to play along, but come on. So where does this stand? What is the real answer? Do Kyle and Imanov have a fight? Because you couldn't deny Imanov. Imanov, just so you guys understand, is coming off a win over Israel Adesanya. Like, Imanov could be the one that steps right into the main event and goes against Chimaev. The whole world loves Kyle Brow right now. If you just want to look on paper, though, your case for Barrow's strong. Imanov's got just as strong of an argument. It does make a lot of sense that those guys fight. And pulling one out and creating an interim championship, you're just getting a little bit ahead of yourselves right now. A lot of big fights. There's a lot of big announcements. There's a lot of big fights that are done, but have yet to be announced. So when it comes to 185, take a deep breath. Do nothing more than wish Dricus Du Plessis well. I promise you, I will bring you news later in the week.